In the last video, we walked through the PowerPoint presentation of doing an ABC analysis for an example that had 14 different SKUs. And we calculated out the annual dollar value for every SKU, we found the cumulative dollar value, and then we assigned our ABC codes. I'm going to intentionally go through this pretty quick so that you can see how quickly an ABC analysis can be done using Microsoft Excel. This example is only 14 SKUs, but like I said, you can do it just as quickly for 14,000 SKUs by some of the formulas that we can use in Microsoft Excel. So here we go. Step 1. We're going to calculate out the annual dollar value. We do that by taking the unit price times the annual demand. That gives us $51,380 for our first item. Now here is a trick that you can do so that you don't have to do this formula every single time. Instead of copying and pasting it all the way down like this, you can also go and you can just double click the bottom right hand portion of a cell, and it will calculate everything from that cell all the way down. So I've double clicked, and that gives me my annual dollar value of $3.5 million for these 14 different SKUs. Now, step 2, I need to sort by descending order. Now, this was already done for you in the slide deck, but you will need to do it manually when you are doing an ABC analysis. So I just did that. I am now sorting in descending order from highest value to lowest value. Now I need to see my percent annual value for every item. So I'm going to do that by taking, in this first item, $693,000 divided by $3.5 million. And that gives me an annual value of 19.6. But because I want to do it for every single item, I'm going to put a $sign in front of the E and a $sign in front of the 18, so that as I use this copy and paste this formula and use it all the way down, that it remains locked on cell E18. So 19.6 for the first item, double click, and that gives me my annual dollar value for every item in this facility. Okay, cumulative dollar value. Now, this one is pretty easy. For your first item, it always equals your first cumulative value. For your next item, you're going to take the second highest priced item and add it to the first highest priced item. And so when you add those together, that's going to give you your cumulative value on a SKU by SKU basis. Now, for this specific formula, you will not want to lock any of the cells because you do want to take 1.38 million plus 576,000, and you're going to want to work all the way down. Now, as I noted in the first lecture recording, you're going to want this $3.5 million to match that $3.5 million, and they do. So you know that you've done it correctly up to this point. Now we want to get the cumulative total annual dollar value. Okay, we want the cumulative percentage total annual value. So we will take, the first item is just 20%. It always was 20%. And then we will add that. We can do it one of two ways. We can take $1.38 million for our cumulative value, and you can divide it by 3.5, and you can do it that way. So you could freeze the cells at G16. You could do it that way, and that would work. That gives you 100%. Or the other way to go about doing this is just simply by taking 20% plus 19% and then double click that all the way down as well. And that will give you the same answer. Once again, this equals 100%, so therefore you have done it correctly. Now to assign your ABC code, this will be determined by your company policy. The textbook for this example says that anything in the top 55% is going to be an A item. Your next 37% will be B items, so that gets you to roughly 92%. And then your bottom items, which are your lowest 8%, will be C's. So for this example, you have 3 A items, you have 5 B items, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 C items. Now, this example provided by the book gives you 55%, 37%, and 8%. Remember what I said that I use. I use far more dramatic numbers of 80%, 15%, and 5%, but I'm also dealing with a lot more SKUs. I used to deal with anywhere from 14,000 buy parts, 15,000 buy parts, and just as many manufactured parts, so we had almost 30,000 SKUs that we worked with. So I was afforded the luxury of using a more dramatic ABC classification system. In this example, there's only 14 SKUs, so they had to be a little less dramatic, and that's why they went with 55%, 37%, and 8% for this example.